Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene of Edessa, The Dark Crusade, Season 2. And tonight we find Irene waking up, going back and forth to Timorant to feed. And as she comes back into Edessa, she is going to make her way to the, after doing her usual tasks and chores and things, she will make her way to the bazaar, where she will almost like without looking around much. She's just straightforward. She has her purpose. She will go to a certain shop that sells carpets and sometimes also pillows. And yeah, she'll walk in and starts to look for that oh so familiar face.
Um, when you walk in, Gufran's actually not there, but there are two of his quote unquote retainers, quote unquote. Some of his workers, employees, people he pays. Um,
To do
one of
stuff.
one of them looks up. You've seen her uh sometime sometimes, and she nods and handles a business deal, and goes towards the door and towards the back and stands there at the ready, as it were.
Mm, Irene will yeah, she'll follow the woman, the lady in waiting, and she'll give a polite nod and asks, "Is Sir Gufran in the back?"
Yes, he's been holding himself up there, busy with paperwork.
Of course. And Irene will, yeah, will open the door or slide away the curtain or whatever you want to do to get into the back.
As you get in the back, you see the room there. You have visited many, many times before now.
Hmm.
With Gufran sitting at a desk, bending himself over paperwork. When he sees the door open and he sees Irene, and he just and the door closes behind you, and he's just sitting there like,
She'll curtsy politely. Sir Gufran, may I enter?
"Yes, you may," as he says as he gets off his chair and stands and walks towards you. You're 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 free. How? What has happened?
Well,
Are they here?
no. I was allowed to go. I was allowed to go in that same night when, well, that was before Mustafa pulled this little trick. I was allowed to go at first during that conversation I had with the individual calling himself the martyr.
Ah,
However,
yes, the hypocrite.
he is pretty convinced of his own, well, crusade. But I was allowed to take only one of our group with me. And I had promised that I would stay behind and would let the two of you leave, you and Mina. Later on,
Right.
I was allowed to leave again with the second part that I bargained for, one of the captives.
Which one?
The Assamite, Ebony.
Ah,
Unfortunately, there was no way I could exchange through negotiation more of them. But deducting from the conversation that Ekriot and I had with the Assamites, Ebony was on the brink of dying. So
how did that go?
the conversation between us and the Assamites.
Have you talked to them after you've returned Hebony to them, or
No, I have delivered her to them, and they were obviously more concerned with her than with holding pleasant conversations with me. I will probably visit them soon to check up on her.
what did you mean by Mustafa's gun? The arrow shot.
Yes,
Ah, got a good aim.
he did, but it was unnecessary. The two of you were already allowed to leave.
And now more of us were allowed to leave.
I don't think the situation would have ended differently had he not fired his arrow.
Then, with all due respect, Irene, that's very foolish. This is a man very much blinded by his own hypocrisy that he employs the use of ghouls to do his work and preaches about everything that is so wrong with us when he himself so faithful that he will burn down a city to get what he wants.
He seems to be convinced that it is his job, his task in life,
Of
his
course it
task
is.
set upon him by God to destroy us. I tried to get him to work together with us to destroy bigger evil, but he was reluctant to do so. However, I do feel that we may have an opening in that. I think
I
he wa- Mm, I beg your pardon. Please go ahead.
I have many things I want to say. I don't know the right tone, nor the right voice, nor the right way to say them.
Are you mad at me, Sir Gofran?
No, no, I'm not. I'm not angry at you. No, I am baffled that you were allowed to leave with someone else. I'm also amazed at the amount of naivete you have. But but that is something I've always known.
Is it truly that bad, Sir Gofran?
Very. Believe it or not, I'm glad you're here. You're safe and not with them. But as he just looks around, paranoid almost. I'm not keen on those hunters again. Thus, we're putting them to the sword.
I think there might be a way for us to use them. We have many threats. There are many things that are or that will soon be problematic. If we can steer the hunters in the right direction instead of us, we will weaken their numbers, and we will hopefully get rid of an evil, or of the hunters.
I'm gonna peony that.
Okay.
The Flash R 6010. Failure.
Irene is hiding whatever she's feeling very well for you.
Oh, seems legit. Uh, you took for someone who was allowed to leave a hunter's head place, I guess. You seem very cruel to them after your moving speech in front of us all.
I mean, am I sad that we could not work out some form of truce? Yes. Would I have liked to see it different? Yes. Do I understand their goals and what at least their leader, is after? I see and understand his point of view. But he had no way of seeing eye to eye with me. And if he cannot see eye to eye with me, then I severely doubt that he can see eye to eye with any of us. And I don't mean this in a bad way, Sukufran, but, well, I know that I am somewhat naive. I would still prefer if we could find a way to work together with them. However, I have made my point to their leader that I would not stop protecting my people, and he would not stop doing what he does. So therefore, I will do what I can to protect those that I care about.
Have you reported to the seneschal yet?
Of course I have.
The seneschal told me that we are to round up, or rather, that an expedition party is going to be formed to take out every single hunter in that hamlet.
Hmm.
Did he say anything to you regarding this?
He has not. I've merely given my statement and then was sent off.
You spoke about using the hunters against another evil. You
Well,
mean the plague, or this Roth figure?
there are forces at work behind the plague, of that I am convinced. We can find those forces and set the hunters onto their location. They will not stop destroying ourselves. It is better that they destroy themselves on something besides us. It has nothing to do with being cruel. But they will not stop, and I prefer them to fight something that we are also fighting instead of them fighting us.
Very ideological point of view.
Perhaps.
It so very suits you, Irene. He just gives her a smile. Not one of you idiots, but one of you will never change.
I am glad to see that you are safe, though.
I too am glad to see that I am safe. Like I said, I am glad to see that you're not there and actually here. For now, not having been followed.
As far as I do know, I am not followed.
Yes, well, I've been trying to keep a bit of a low profile ever since.
Understandable.
Even with some of the things that I have in place, you can never be too sure.
The things you have in place. I will not ask.
I assume you have the same. Do you not?
Of course.
Teeny!
Yeah, our old subterfuge. Because Irene has no idea.
1, 2, 3 successes!
Oh boy.
Ha 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 ha!
You know what I should do next downtime?
By subterfuge?
Buy up my subterfuge. Yeah. Let me see. Manipulation subterfuge. It's not that bad, actually. Huh. I'm a better liar than I thought.
Hmm.
But not good enough. God damn
Not
it.
good enough.
um, she has somewhat an idea of that he's like talking about simple protections and everything. But she is not very much aware of the protections that are in the place that she's staying. So yeah,
So,
she's lying her ass off.
so when she says, yes, yes, I do, like, Griffin looks at her and gives her one of those looks like, you know
Bless you.
what look Gofran gives her. He's
Mm.
given this look to her many a times.
And she'll actually look down for a moment, slightly embarrassed.
Just make sure that you're, uh, well, just be prepared. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I have sort of a guarantee that they will kill me last, so I'm not as worried.
I am so glad that you have this guarantee. Be
she yeah, she's still kind of looking down and finally looks up and gives that apologetic smile.
Meanwhile, they will kill me first because I'm a filthy heretic.
Well, then it's a good thing that you do have your things in place. I am
Yeah.
sorry. I wish I could have changed anything.
Uh, that is not. What did you talk about actually? Because you went in there for a fair bit of time, and you were still there after we made our dashing escape.
We talked about faith, conviction, their goals, their lives, about the cruelty that they feel we are bestowing upon them. And how I try to explain that we are not all like that. It fell on deaf men's ears.
I think, oh, see, Irene knows that Gufran is most definitely like that.
I mean, she kind of knows, but she's hoping that it changes.
Ah,
And she also knows that he does a lot of good. Like he's helped her out so often.
so often. So often.
The player is sarcastic, the character is not.
So often. Oh my god.
I know, right? It was an interesting experience.
I'll say. Not every day you get to speak to a self righteous hypocrite.
I'm not sure if he's a hypocrite. I don't think he is.
Hmm.
I think if it hadn't been for those who follow him, no matter how often he says that he's not their leader, if it hadn't been for those who listen to his words, I think the situation might have been different. And he might have listened more freely to my words. I'm not sure though. And I cannot look into the past or the future or alternative.
That, obviously, is a lie.
Mm. Yeah, she says that. She stops, realizing that, she's lying. But, I mean, so she'll look again, kind of apologetic, and then says, well, not at will, at least.
Oh, see, before you make that sentence, Saskia,
No,
Irene
she
has.
makes that deliberately.
Okay.
You can go with that.
Okay, because Irene has
She's,
never told Gufran that she can do
yeah,
that.
she studies Gufran actually at that reaction.
I should make a manip subterfuge chicken.
Then I will P and E.
That is more than acceptable. Could use Serpentis, but that would be cheating.
I mean, if you want to, I'm not
No,
stopping you.
that's a terrible idea.
It
Let's
is.
see.
Whoa, you do not need it.
I've
Fucking
got
hell.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes.
Tell me what Irene sees.
Irene sees confusion. It's more like if it's what she sees is a wait what moment. If you know those wait what moments,
Hmm.
they kind of like hold on, I did not expect to what. Not at will, you say.
I have something that I want to share with you because it troubles me.
Would you
And
like to sit down? We've been
if it,
standing so far.
yes, please.
And yeah, Irene sits down, Gufran will sit next to her. Not opposite, next to her.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult to explain, but I I am often plagued with dreams, nightmares. Usually these are nonsensical. They come and go at night. Well, a day. Sometimes they linger. Most of the time they make no sense. But from time to time, I I see things. It's almost like a dream, though they can happen at any moment. And I know those sights. There is truth in them, although it's usually cryptic, and it is difficult for me to understand them fully. Sometimes I understand bits of it, and sometimes nothing. Sometimes they are clearer. And even when I understand them, sometimes they don't happen at all like the way I see it, or I've seen it, or it simply doesn't happen. And she'll look up at Gufran to see his reaction.
Girlfriend is looking her over. He seems to take it in. So you have visions.
Yes.
What? Could you give me an example?
Were you there when we were in Margot's place, up at the balcony and the door was shut?
I do not believe so.
I see. Well, let's see, another example. I can pretty much go with that example. It was the night when the plague came upon Edessa. And we went we went up on the tower and out on the balcony to see what was happening. And as the others were still there and I had gone down again, and I looked at one of the pools, it was black. A very deep, dark, and foreboding blackness. Not like the shadows that my clan works with, but almost deeper, more terrifying. And I'd seen that blackness before, like a few, maybe a week before that. Well, I was walking in the gardens in at the castle of Timaran, and I was looking out over the lake, and it suddenly there was this darkness again. Well, it's the first time I saw it, and it almost grabbed me, and I slipped. I fell into the water. These were small ones. I've had more extended sights. Not many people know though, and I would hope to have your discretion on this.
Who knows?
My sire,
Just Prince Ulrich?
no, Lady Johanna knows as well.
I'm almost wounded Lady Johanna knows earlier than me. But that is neither here nor there.
She she came upon me one night when I was rather distraught, and she got the truth out of it. Out of character, I need to throw something at my husband.
Continue doing the thing, Jesse.
Max is telling you to continue to do the thing. I hate you, both of you.
So, Lady Johanna and Prince Ulrich are the only two that know, correct? Eklios doesn't know.
No, he does not know.
I'm surprised, given how close the two of you are. I thought you would have told him.
It is something that I prefer to keep to myself.
Then why tell me? You must know that I am. I've told. God damn it. Verdomme, Saskia.
Sorry, Max.
I've told you repeatedly to never trust the Setite, so why are you telling me this?
Because when I was. God damn it, Jesse. I'm seriously having trouble finishing my story this way. Anyway,
Do we need to break here and do the scene
no,
at a later point?
no, don't worry. Fuck. Okay. Moment. Because when I was at the hunters, when I was at the hunter's place, I saw something and I am worried. The thing is to fully understand the situation of what I saw. I think I require information, and I know you are very good at finding out things, or I hope that you are very good at finding out these things. I might even already know about them.
that depends on the nature of the subject, but do continue.
So, what I saw, so I quickly need to grab my notes. Wait, that's not my notes. God damn it. That's it. So, what I saw was the Palace of Edessa. And there was a dark pool. Yeah, death pool.
Deadpool.
And he's gone. Right. And there was a dark pool of some kind of shadow, almost fur-like shadow that was swirling around it. It started to surround the palace of Edessa. And it almost flaunted over the grounds of the palace. But the doors of the palace were blocking it. It could not enter the palace. And at some point, the doors of the palace almost pushed back the shadows as it opened, and the prince of Edessa came riding out with his army, with, well, I don't know what they were, couldn't see it, but they were heavy plated, but there was nothing but a dim glow behind the visors of the helmets. And he came riding out and he engaged three figures that started to rise from the pool of shadow. The first two were a bald male with pointy ears. I think it may have been a Nosferatu. The other one was a golden-haired female with pale skin but almost holy looking and dressed in like pure glistening white cloth. She looked familiar, like similar to the prince, but more clean, more
Alive.
holy almost. Perhaps more pristine. And after her followed this massive animalistic form, sort of wolf-like, but hairs growing wild in every direction. And it had many arms and claws and legs. Its fur kept shifting, and its face was almost a mixture between man and beast. It looked very vicious. And, well, they started fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look beyond the confrontation. Probably means that I may be part of it. I know the monstrous form, the animalistic thing, was important in it, and it was terrifying. I
What?
need to know who these people are.
So you're telling me this because you want my aid in finding out who these individuals are, correct?
Yes, if there's a plot against the prince, I I don't think that is a thing that we can have right now with all the problems that there are.
Sorry, parents.
Mm, I know. It happens like parents or husbands that are intervening and annoying.
Ah.
I need help. Someone who has a sharp mind, who can investigate and is far less naive than I am.
A bald man with pointy ears, woman with golden hair with almost a holy aura around her, and a monster. I wouldn't know where to begin.
I know a few things. I know, well, I believe that Johanna is involved in this.
Johanna, Lady Johanna is.
Yes. But I'm not sure if she realizes herself what she is involved in. And I have a feeling, after a conversation with him, that Malkavian Garnet might know some things about the situation that I do not. Because I believe he has seen things as well that are similar to this.
Oh, Garnet, Mr. Garnet. It's a wonderful fellow.
Hmm. Would you help me, Kufran?
You've told me this, all of this information. You've told me a dear secret of yours. You
Yes.
revealed all of this. And then you ask me to help without knowing whether or not I'd say yes?
If I would have asked you to help, you would have asked for the information before you would agree to help.
I would probably wouldn't have agreed to help you if you had just asked, "Hey, I need some help," and then but there's this big thing involved. But this sounds so very fun. You enjoy some good bit of fun.
Well, I'm glad that you find it funny. I can assure you I do not, but Perhaps that is why it is a good thing that I came to you. You see it without having actually seen it.
I'll tell you what, Irene. I will do my utmost to aid you, even though I have no idea where to start. Not a single lead. If you can give me one, I will try my best. I'll trust it. Um,
Well,
on a
I
condition
was. Yes.
that you tell me about every single vision that you have from now on, because I am very interested in that. And I will also promise to not speak about your ability to anyone who doesn't already know.
I am not sure if I could tell you about all of them.
Why not?
Because the things I see are random and sometimes not random. For instance, I would not have told Johanna this vision. Although she knows that I've seen something, I have not told her the nature of it. Not told her in detail as I do tell you now. Because I believe that anyone being part of a vision or having to deal with it, it might not be the best for them to know. Because it might influence their actions. In fact, my sire believes that I should not do anything with the visions at all. Simply let happen what I see. But it's something that I find very difficult.
It also sounds very foolish to just abandon a gift, an ability that you have. Well, perhaps gift is the wrong word. Ability. Let's keep it at that. Having visions, even cryptic ones, can give you a great leg up in the game. However, you're choosing to abstain information about these visions to anyone is a good idea. You wouldn't want to let others know you can see things. Especially, perhaps especially the clans that sometimes already have visions,
Yeah,
like Clan Malkavian, for example.
I think Garnet has the idea. Because I did tell him some things. But I did not explicitly tell him everything.
This, however, does not change my offer. I would like to know everything you see.
I understand you would. I can promise you to tell you the things that you are not directly involved in.
I'd be more interested in stuff that I would be involved in. As he says with this grin of, yes, yes.
I understand. It is rare that I actually see people that I recognize. Usually, even they are hidden.
However,
However,
it felt like there was going to be a second part of that sentence.
mm, I don't quite know what to do here. You said never trust a Setite. I've trusted you with way too much.
Well, I'm always going to try and get the most out of any situation, Irene. You know me.
So I will tell you everything I know, save for those things that I know I cannot tell you.
Oh, oh, shrewd. Shrewd, my lady. I'm curious, though, what falls underneath the banner of things you can't tell me, or things you know you can't tell me?
Things in which you play a role, an active role.
Oh, now I am ever so curious. As he sits up straight and looks at her directly with this face of, do go on, yes.
I have not seen anything in which you were involved.
Oh, that saddens me a bit. Perhaps I am not important enough for your visions to take a gander at me yet. Hmm.
I'm not quite sure if that is a curse. I see that more as a blessing.
Ah, I shall do my utmost to be worthy of your visions, then. Hash, out of character. Not a single lie was spoken in that sentence.
Out of character, I know. In
Still,
character, Irene will like smile. You do know how to make a person laugh even when they don't feel like it.
I'm glad to be able to make you laugh. Seeing your smiles worth a lot to me.
I doubt that, sincerely. But that's as far as I can give my offer.
Not to reveal anything that I am involved if you drive a hard bargain, my lady. Hmm.
I'm not familiar with bargaining, so I am sorry if I place my final offer immediately on the table and destroy part of the game for you.
Oh, you won't even let me play. Ah, my dear heart, so filled with sadness. But, oh, woe is me! I assume. No, phone, shut up. Um, wait, If you say that you can barely make out shapes and people that you have met, does that mean you had visions of those around you in the past?
Not to my knowledge. Most visions I had were of threats.
I see.
They are often vague.
I won't tell anyone who does not already know. I'm not going to know about anything that would involve myself. You think would involve myself. I would, however, be privy to information, the contents of your other visions, which interesting. Are you planning on telling Lord Ecleos?
Not necessarily, no.
The things you do for information, telling a Setite one of your most precious secrets, so it has it. Oh dear.
I
Can
think
I
you. Mm,
can I do a peony on Irene herself? Like, how is she feeling? Like a general, how does she do right now?
sure.
Okay. 2 successes.
Okay. She looks slightly uncomfortable with this whole conversation. Um, and she is definitely anticipating your answer.
Gotcha. Hmm. All right. I will aid you in finding out information about your vision in the most discreet way possible. In return, you will tell me about contents of your visions that you will deem have nothing to do with me or that I star in. I will also promise us to not discuss this with anyone who doesn't already know. These are your terms?
Yes.
And there's no way I could make you tell me about visions that I would appear in.
No.
He says with this kind of merchant grin.
No.
Oh dear. I accept.
I mean, well, yeah. Like she'll sigh, actually, relieved. It's kind of weird for someone who doesn't need to breathe, but yeah.
I mean, considering how much humanity you have.
Exactly. Thank you.
Strictly business, my lady. Though I always enjoy doing business with you.
We have barely done any business together.
We must rectify this at once. I have wonderful carpets for you.
Maybe one day I'll buy a carpet from you.
Perhaps that day has arrived. Tonight. Eyebrow
I am
wiggle.
afraid that the little resources I have are addressed to other matters right now.
Oh. Well, I've seen various of my carpets. Elysium of Timuron, so I guess that is worth something at the very.
I might order something special from you soon.
Aho!
I have a few ideas.
Do tell me as soon as you're able.
I shall.
Wonderful.
So, has anything happened during my short absence from the city?
Mina's wanted.
Oh, was she not already?
I mean, by mortal authorities.
I thought it had something to do with that fire.
Yeah. She wanted for that as well. Well,
Oh
she's
dear.
now wanted for the murder of a family, apparently.
I.
Remember when the lady said that when we have a bad day, some people pay the price? Apparently, Mina had a bad day.
Well, that is something.
Hmm.
She better be careful.
Oh, she would better be. All these breaches of the silence is, quite frankly, getting out of control.
Well, there's a reason why there is a little army of hunters outside of the city gates.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm so glad you understand this. You have. Oh dear. The silence is extremely important.
I know.
But aside from that, there's not a whole lot that has happened.
Well, that is good. Have you heard about the demon yet?
The infernal activity that took place in by the Toreador, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I didn't know the Toreador dabbled in infernalism. Apparently, their search for new experiences brought them to this. They could have just as well given their souls to Set.
I have seen it when it was little, right there on the balcony I was talking about earlier.
Uh-huh.
And later in Omar Shadid's shop.
Oh, so that is why Shadid's shop was destroyed, was it?
Yes, it
Ah.
it got destroyed during the fight.
Ah, yeah. See, I considered, I had offered Omar some resources just to help him rebuild, but apparently he has more than enough himself.
I think so too, yeah. It has grown. And we only, well, we managed to be defeated. So, well, apparently it was only temporary. But I have not heard of it since.
Well, let us hope that it stays away for a very, very long time.
Indeed. And if not, we may be able to set the hunters on it.
That would certainly be a sight to see.
Indeed. Although I am not sure how that would go for Margot.
Who knows?
So have you heard of any plans? You said that the Seneschal had ordered to.
I have heard nothing, which is worrying.
Certainly. Maybe I should try and speak to him again.
You have a better account of what happened there than we do, so if you wish to, by all means, please do go ahead, because currently nothing is happening, and honestly, this has gotten weird for League. Out of our capabilities as fledglings and neonates of the various clans of the city.
Yeah, that was what I thought when that entire crowd surrounded us. Did I do wrong in talking to them instead of us trying to fight our way out?
Honestly, it probably provided all of us a way of escape.
Good.
Because, well, we all know how how that person reacted to Mina and myself.
Yes. But we could have chosen to fight immediately.
Honest, no, we would have. We are both not equipped for the way of martial arts. I barely know how to handle a sword. I barely know how to handle myself in a fist fight. I'm a merchant, not a warrior.
I've gotten some training from the Sheriff of Timiran and from Prince Ulrich. I know how to hold a sword, but I would not call myself an accomplished fighter.
Well, at least you have the good fortune of having the knowledge or having the ability to call upon strength far beyond mortal grasp.
Yes, as we all have. But I'm not sure how well that would have been out there in the open. Shadows do tend to get noticed.
I
And
wasn't
there's
talking about your ability to twist and form shadows around you. I was talking about your ability to pick up, well, a horse and throw it at them.
I've never tried to pick up a horse.
Perhaps you should.
Perhaps I should.
I do not know how capable you are with potence, but
I know my way around, but I am still a fledgling.
Well, your control over obtenebration is quite well compared to some of the neonates of Clan La Sombra that I've seen at times. All in all, Irene, I sometimes do not know why you're still a fledgling. Then again, I am no La Sombra.
I am not even a year old. I think
You have,
there's a very good reason why I'm still a fledgling.
well, I guess that is something. I guess. This, as I said, I'm not a member of Clan La Sombra, so it's not of my business.
How long have you been a fledgling then, before you became a neonate?
About 2 years?
That is very.
Setites bring their education quickly, dastardly, before you are even embraced. And if you fail even a single test, you will wish for the sweet release of death.
It sounds like you should be happy that it has only been 2 years. It's very
Yes,
short compared to us. Even according to the standards of your clan, I would still need to go at least 1.5 years longer.
I have faith in you. I have faith that Set will show you the way.
I'm sure you do.
After all, he is our father.
Well,
He kind of looks at her and measures her reaction.
I mean, she smiles because she knows that he knows that she is a fairly devout Christian. So,
Yeah, and she has also said like God is our father and yada 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 every time, and every time Gufran has rolled his eyes like, and now he gets to do it. Take that. Mm.
so yeah, she'll smile at that, and I will hope that your God will give you many blessings.
That he does. That takes care of his children. Long as they are competent, that takes care of his children.
Then I am sure that you will receive many blessings indeed.
Of course I do. Look at me.
I would love to stay longer, but I've taken enough of blah, 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 blah. I've taken up enough of your time, and I have some other duties that I have to tend to.
Very well, dear lady.
It was a pleasure seeing you again.
It's always looking at your radiant form.
You flatter me.
I do hope so. As every bit of intention that I have, he says as he stands up, um, reaches for Irene's hand, um, and gives it a slight kiss.
Yeah, she will curtsy as he does, and will yeah, make herself ready to leave. I hope to speak with you soon, Sukufran. And good luck
Until then.
until then. And Irene will walk back into the shop and from the shop out onto the bazaar again.
Gufran will walk back to his desk, sit down beside it. The worthless, worthless. That's where we can end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Goodbye.